Here's an amazing question which tests your knowledge of objects, their properties, and the way they move from the top of the hill down to the ground. You're presented with 3 different objects, and you need to determine which object will reach ground first when pushed to slide from the top of the hill. You have 4 possible choices to select from. Choice A, wheel. Choice B, wooden box. Choice C, sticky substance. And last but not least, choice D, they all reach the ground at the same time. Take a close look, maybe pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer. On my end, I have my selection, so I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. To determine the answer, let's look at each object individually. This will help us decide all the considerations related to their sliding from the top of the hill down to the ground. Let's start with the cube. Cube's shape may cause it to experience high levels of friction against the slide, slowing its descent. But at the same time, sticky substance may move even slower, because the behavior of sticky substance will largely depend on its viscosity and adhesive properties. If the substance is highly viscous and adheres strongly to the slide, it may experience significant resistance, and it will take much longer for it to reach the ground. In some scenarios, depending upon viscosity, the sticky substance may never reach the ground at all. Based on this, I think most likely sticky substance will be the slowest in reaching down the bottom of the slide, followed by the cube, which would be second in the sliding down. So, as you might have guessed, I am putting my bets on the wheel. I think wheel's rolling motion will help reduce friction with the slide, allowing wheel to move more smoothly. This is why the wheel may reach the ground faster than all other objects. This is why I think the correct answer is choice A, wheel, because the wheel will roll and will have minimum friction to reach the ground. Did you come to the different conclusion? If yes, please make sure to post your answer, solution, and rationale in comments so we can all learn. Here's an amazing question to see how well you know the tools. You're presented with 5 tools, and you need to match the tool with the task performed. Choice 1, tool is used for making curved cuts in various materials. Choice 2 is used to loosen or tighten plumbing pipes. Choice 3, used to apply sparkle or correction putty. Choice 4 is used to apply lubrication to gears and machinery. And last but not least, choice 5 is used for cutting down trees, trimming branches, and processing woods. And you need to match this description with choices A, B, C, D, and E. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. Are you ready? I think I'm ready on my end, so I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. Let's start with the choice 1. I believe the description for choice 1 is a jigsaw. Jigsaw is a handheld power tool equipped with the reciprocating blade used for making intricate curved cuts in the materials such as wood, metal, or plastic. And description 1 matches image B. I think choice 2 matches the pipe wrench. And a pipe wrench is a specialized hand tool used for gripping and turning plumbing pipes to tighten or loosen them during installation or repair. As you might have guessed, description 2 matches the image E. I think description 3 matches putty knife. And the putty knife is a flat, flexible tool, often with a metal blade used for applying and smoothing substances like spackle, correction putty, or paint on surfaces. And description 3 matches choice C. I think choice 4 is a grease gun. A grease gun is a handheld device designed for applying lubricating grease to machinery, gears, or bearings to reduce friction or maintain proper functioning. And last but not least, description 5 resembles a chainsaw. Chainsaw is a portable mechanical saw with a rotating chain of sharp teeth, commonly used for felling trees, cutting branches, and processing wood in forestry, construction, or landscaping. You can see grease gun matching image A and chainsaw matching image D. Did you come up with any other conclusions? Or maybe have some other thoughts about this question? Please make sure to post your feedback and rationale in comments so we can all learn. Here's a very interesting question where you need to demonstrate your knowledge of tools and their uses. Samir is about to tackle a tricky repair job. You need to identify the essential tool featured in the image and select the option that best matches it. You're presented with 5 choices. Choices A, B, C, D, E. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. On my end, I am moving forward to share with you my version of the solution. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, as usual, please post in comments. I believe you probably recognize the tool shown. It is screwdriver. But this is only the first step. In the second step, we need to identify all other tools shown and determine their relationship with screwdriver. I think choice A is a knife. A knife is a cutting tool, and it is not closely related to a screwdriver. Choice B is a nail. A nail is a fastening tool, which is used to join materials, but it's also not directly related to the screwdriver. Choice D is a hammer. And hammer is a tool that's used to drive nails or other fasteners, which is different from screwdriver's primary function. And choice E is a bolt, which is the type of fastener, like a screw, but it's not directly related to a screwdriver. So, as you might have guessed, the correct answer here is choice C, screw. In fact, screwdriver is specifically designed for turning screws. When using a screwdriver, you insert its tip into the head of a screw and turn it to tighten or loosen the screw. You can even guess it based on the names, screwdriver and screw. This relationship between the screwdriver and the screw makes choice C the most closely related tool or object to the screwdriver in the given options. Was your answer different? Or maybe you had other considerations? If you did, please make sure to post them in comments so we can all learn. I think this question is not just about engineering, but also about your critical thinking and analytical skills. If you use the same bow to shoot arrows at angles of 45 degrees, 0 degrees, and 60 degrees, which angle will make the arrow travel the farthest? You have 4 possible choices. Choice A, 45 degrees. Choice B, 0 degrees. Choice C, 60 degrees. And last but not least, choice D, neither one. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. On my end, I am moving forward to share with you my version of the analysis and answer, and obviously if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. Let's start by looking at the scenario where we shoot the arrow at 0 degrees, which ultimately means horizontal shot. When you shoot it at 0 degrees, it means you're firing it horizontally, parallel to the ground. In this case, the arrow initial velocity is responsible for its horizontal distance because there is no vertical component in its motion. What's interesting here is that the arrow will cover some horizontal distance, but it won't travel very far because gravity starts acting on it immediately, pulling it downward. Now let's compare it to shooting an arrow at a 60-degree angle. This means we are launching it at a steeper angle upward compared with even 45-degree angle. What's interesting in this case is that while it still have a horizontal component, more of its initial velocity is directed upward. As a result, the arrow will reach a greater height but cover less horizontal distance before it hits the ground. Which brings us to the 45-degree angle solution. If you want to make sure your arrow reach farthest horizontal distance, you should shoot it at a 45-degree angle. 45-degree angle allows for the best balance between horizontal and vertical components of an arrow's motion, maximizing its range. So the correct answer here is choice B, 45 degrees. Did you get to the same answer? If not, please make sure to share your thoughts and rationale in comments so we can all learn. I love this question because it tests your spatial reasoning, and if you try to solve it on your own, it boosts your IQ and intelligence. You're presented with unusually looking shape, which have some measurements, and you need to calculate the perimeter of the given shape and select it out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 6 feet. Choice B, 10 feet. Choice C, 12 feet. And last but not least, choice D, 14 feet. Take a close look to see if you can calculate the answer. I am pretty sure if you're a subscriber to this channel and practice these types of problems regularly, you'll do it easily. On my end, I am moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better solution, please make sure to post your answer and solution in comments. As you might be well aware, to calculate the perimeter, you need to add up the length of all the sides. In our object, we're presented with the steps that have measurements. And this object also has solid sides at the bottom and on the left. So first, let's calculate the perimeter of the steps. The top sides are all 1 feet, and the heights of every step is also 1 feet. So the steps would be calculated 1 feet plus 1 feet plus 1 feet plus 1 feet, and then you do it 6 times because it has 6 sides, which means that perimeter of all the steps would be 6 feet. The bottom area, based on the measurements, would be 3 feet, and the left area would be 3 feet as well. So the total perimeter would be 6 feet for the steps, then 3 for the bottom, and we also need to add 3 feet for the left area, which would total to 12 feet. So the correct answer here is choice C, 12 feet. Did you get to the same answer? If not, please make sure to post your solution and rationale in comments. Some problems really make you think, and this is one of those challenges. You need to calculate the missing number, and you're presented with 2 rows of numbers. The first row contains numbers 12 and 16 on the outside, and on the inside you have number 56 in the brackets. The second row contains numbers 17 and 21 on the outside, and then comes the missing number in the middle in the brackets. You need to calculate and select the missing number out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 66. Choice B, 86. Choice C, 76. And last but not least, choice D, 96. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. I am going to give you a quick hint here. Try to differentiate the numbers on the inside the brackets and on the outside of the brackets. Are you ready? I hope you are, because I am moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. To solve this challenge, let's look at the first row. First row has the numbers 12 and 16 on the outside and number 56 on the inside the brackets. The pattern that you needed to recognize is that the middle number inside the brackets is calculated as double sum of numbers outside of the brackets. Let me show you the example. For example, 56 is calculated as 12 by 2 plus 16 by 2, which would result in 24 plus 32, which would be equal to 56. Same way, the missing number can be calculated. 17 multiplied by 2 plus 21 multiplied by 2 would be equal to 34 plus 22 and would be equal to 76. Did you get to the same answer? If not, please make sure to post your answer, solution, and rationale in comments. Here's an amazing question to test your analytical skills. You're presented with 2 statements. The first statement is, some dogs are brown. The second statement is, some dogs are big. Assuming that the first 2 statements are true, is the final statement is also true. Here's the final statement. At least one dog is big and brown. And you're presented with 3 different choices to choose from. Choice A, yes. Choice B, no. And last but not least, choice C, uncertain. Take a close look, maybe pause this video to analyze the statements to determine the right answer. On my end, I know the answer I am going to reveal, so I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. What's important to know about these types of questions is that you can only make conclusions based on the information provided in the statements, which means that if something must be true in the real life, but not supported by the first 2 statements, we cannot conclude that it is true based on the question asked. So let's look at the first 2 statements. It is possible that the dogs are brown, but at the same time, they are not big, because statements do not definitively conclude any of this information. What the statements do establish is the existence of brown dogs and big dogs separately, which means that the information provided in the first 2 statements does not support the conclusion that there is at least one dog that is both big and brown. This is why the final statement cannot be considered true based on the given information. So the correct answer is choice B, no. Did you come up with the same conclusion? If not, please make sure to post your solution and rationale in comments so we can all learn. As you might have guessed, this video is full of surprises. This is why I have a surprise question for you. Take a close look at the series of numbers and determine which one logically completes the series. The numbers are 5, 10, 20, 40, and then comes the missing number, which you need to select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 100, choice B, 80, choice C, 50, and last but not least, choice D, 60. The answer is rather easy once you detect the pattern. And I have full confidence that as a subscriber or future subscriber to this channel, you will be able to do it. Are you ready? Once you're done answering this question, make sure to post it in comment section of this video so I can share with you my feedback. Thanks for participating and good luck solving the challenge. Here's an amazing question with the answer that will definitely surprise you. You're presented with the circle broken down into the 8 parts. Each part has letters inside, and letters are O, S, then comes the missing letter, T, another missing letter, O, another missing letter, and ends in P. You need to complete the object by selecting the choice of 3 grouped letters. Choice A is represented by letters I, E. Choice B is represented by letters T, N. Choice C is represented by letters E, N. And last but not least, choice D is formed by the letters of I, N. Take a close look to see if you can complete the object. I'm going to give you a quick hint to help you solve it. Take a close look what happens if you move clockwise. I'm pretty sure you are by now, so I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. What's interesting about this question is how amazingly simple the solution is. If we start with the letter P, we can form a word position. Let me spell it for you. P-O-S-I-T-I-O-N. Let me pinpoint 3 considerations that will help you solve these types of problems on the test. When you look at the question is complete the object, and letters are the choices, which most of the time would mean that you need to form the word. Circle shape in the original question mimics the clock, which a lot of times mean that you need to select the direction, which could be clockwise or counterclockwise. To solve these types of challenges, you typically need to look at consecutive letters that are already present. So the 3 consecutive letters that are present are P-O-S, which would kick off your thinking about the word position. As you might have guessed by now, the correct choice here is choice D, letters I-N, which help you to form the word position. Did you come up with the different answer? Or maybe you have other tips on how to solve these types of challenges? Please make sure to post in comments. What's interesting about the question I'm about to present you is that it truly tests your analytical skills. You need to determine which number comes next in the sequence. And you're presented with the sequence of 6 numbers where 7th number is missing. The sequence is 23, 11, 20, 12, 18, 14, and then comes the missing number, which you need to select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 17, choice B, 16, choice C, 22, and last but not least, choice D, 20. Take a close look, maybe do mental math calculations to see if you can come up with the answer. Seems unsolvable, isn't it? But be sure that the answer will look so simple as soon as I reveal it, just like in a magic trick. Maybe give yourself additional 15 to 20 seconds to see if you can come up with the answer. Are you ready? Because on my end, I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. If you are a frequent visitor or a subscriber to this channel, you know the rule. And rule is to find the pattern. But in this particular question, there are 2 independent patterns. Let's look closely so I can share them with you. The numbers 23, 20, 18, and 17 represent first pattern. And the next number is calculated by subtracting decrementing number from the previous number. Let's look at the example. 23 minus 3 equals 20. 20 minus 2 equals 18. You see that the 3 is decremented by 1 to get to 2. The next number is calculated as 18 minus 1, which is decrement from 2, equals 17. The even numbers, 11, 12, 14, and then the missing number, are calculated using the different pattern. In fact, the opposite pattern, where instead of decrement, we use increment. Let's look at the examples. 11 plus 1 equals 12. Then we increase 1 by additional number, and we increment 12 by 2, which leads us to a result of 14. Then the next number, the missing number, is calculated as 14 plus 3, which would be equal to 17. So the correct answer here is choice A, 17. Did you get to the same answer? If not, please make sure to post your answer and solution in comments. I love this question because it truly tests your logical thinking and analytical skills. You're presented with the series of numbers, and you need to determine which one of the following numbers logically completes the series. The numbers are 5, 10, 20, 40, and then comes the missing number, which you need to select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 100, choice B, 80, choice C, 50, and last but not least, choice D, 60. Take a close look, maybe pause this video to see if you can get to the answer. I think I know what my answer is going to be, so I'm moving forward to share with you my solution. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments so we can all learn. To answer this question correctly, you need to detect the pattern. And each number in the sequence is obtained by doubling the previous number. Let's take a look. The first number is 5, and 10 is calculated as double of 5. 5 multiplied by 2 equals 10. 20 is a double of 10, which is calculated as 10 by 2, which is equals 20. 40 is a double of 20, and it's calculated as 20 multiplied by 2 equals 40. So to find the missing number, we'll just need to continue the pattern. 40 multiplied by 2 equals 80. So the correct answer here is choice B, 80. This is one of my favorite questions because it tests your analytical skills as well as your abilities to identify sequences. You're presented with the series of numbers, and you need to identify the pattern and select the option that completes the series. Take a close look at the numbers. The numbers are 2, 5, 9, 14, and 20 in the first row. Second row is 3, 6, 10, 15, and 21. The third row is 4, 8, 13, 19, and 26. And last but not least, the fourth row has the series of numbers 1, 2, 4, 7, 11, and then comes the missing number. You need to detect the pattern and select the missing number out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 17, choice B, 16, choice C, 23, and last but not least, choice D, 18. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the solution. Are you ready? Because I already found my solution, so I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. The key to solve these types of challenges is obviously to identify the pattern and not to overthink it. If we look at the series of numbers, we have 4 independent rows, and each row represents an independent sequence which follows the same pattern. So what is the pattern? And the pattern here is rather simple. The next number is calculated as previous number plus the increment. An increment increases by 1 with each subsequent number. Let's look at the example on how calculations are done for the first row of numbers. In the first calculation, the increment is 3. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Then increment increases by 1, and from 3 becomes 4, which means 5 plus 4 equals 9. Then increment increases again, and 9 plus 5 equals 14. 14 plus 6 equals 20. I'm going to skip rows 2 and 3 so you can do calculations independently to practice your skills, but I am going to do the calculations for the last row. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Increment increases by 1, so 2 plus 2 equals 4. 4 plus 3 equals 7. 7 plus 4 equals 11. And last calculation, 11 plus 5 equals 16. So the correct answer here is choice A, 16. Did you get to the same answer? If not, maybe you have a better way to solve it, so please make sure to post in comments so we can all learn. What I like about this question is that it tells you how well you can do mental calculations. Let's take a close look. 0.41 is the closest decimal approximation for which of the following fractions? And you're presented with 4 choices of fractions. Choice A, 1/2. Choice B, 2/5. Choice C, 3/8. And last but not least, choice D, 512. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. On my end, I am ready to present you with my analysis and my answer, and obviously if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. So let's take a close look. To determine the closest approximation, we need to calculate the decimal equivalents for each fraction and then compare them to 0.41. So let's do it for each choice A, B, C, and D. For choice A, 1/2 is equal to 0.5. For choice B, the decimal equivalent for 2/5 is 0.4. For choice C, the decimal equivalent of 3/8 is 0.375. And for choice D, for 512, the decimal equivalent is 0.41666, and then it's repeating for 67. And then in the last step, we need to compare all these decimal equivalents to 0.41. So from my standpoint, the closest decimal approximation to 0.41 among the given fractions is choice D, 512. And that's because the result of the calculations, 0.4166667, is the closest to 0.41 when rounded to 2 decimal places. So the correct answer here is choice D, 512. In this section, we will look at numerical reasoning test questions frequently used in a test. Numerical reasoning assessment test is a standardized evaluation designed to assess individuals' ability to understand and work with numerical data, make calculations, interpret charts and graphs, and draw conclusions from quantitative information. The typical content of numerical reasoning test can vary, but often include topics such as basic arithmetic, percentage and ratios, data interpretation, financial analysis, mathematical problem solving, number sequences, and a lot of others. Let's look at some sample numerical reasoning assessment test questions we typically see on the test. Here's one of my favorite questions to test your analytical skills and attention to details. You need to determine which of the values is the smallest. And you're presented with 5 different values. The choices are A, 3/4, choice B, 0.6, choice C, 7/12, choice D, 0.7, and last but not least, choice E, 4/5. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. Did you figure it out? I am moving forward to share with you my version of the answer, and obviously if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. To get to the correct answer, we need to convert all the values to the common format. You can convert all the values to decimals, or you convert all the values to fractions. It doesn't matter, but it has to be common. I chose decimal format. 3/4 in decimal is 0.75. 0.6 is 0.6. And 7/12 is 0.583. 0.7 has the same value, and 4/5 is 0.8. Now you can easily see that the smallest value is choice C, 7/12, which is approximately as 0.58333. Did you get to the similar solution? If not, please make sure to post your answer and solution in comments. This is one of my favorite questions because it tests your analytical skills as well as your abilities to identify sequences. You're presented with the series of numbers, and you need to identify the pattern and select the option that completes the series. Take a close look at the numbers. The numbers are 2, 5, 9, 14, and 20 in the first row. Second row is 3, 6, 10, 15, and 21. The third row is 4, 8, 13, 19, and 26. And last but not least, the fourth row has the series of numbers 1, 2, 4, 7, 11, and then comes the missing number. You need to detect the pattern and select the missing number out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 17. Choice B, 16. Choice C, 23. And last but not least, choice D, 18. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the solution. Are you ready? Because I already found my solution, so I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. The key to solve these types of challenges is obviously to identify the pattern and not to overthink it. If we look at the series of numbers, we have 4 independent rows, and each row represents an independent sequence which follows the same pattern. So what is the pattern? And the pattern here is rather simple. The next number is calculated as previous number plus the increment. An increment increases by 1 with each subsequent number. Let's look at the example on how calculations are done for the first row of numbers. In the first calculation, the increment is 3. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Then increment increases by 1 and from 3 becomes 4, which means 5 plus 4 equals 9. Then increment increases again and 9 plus 5 equals 14. 14 plus 6 equals 20. I'm going to skip rows 2 and 3 so you can do calculations independently to practice your skills, but I am going to do the calculations for the last row. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Increment increases by 1, so 2 plus 2 equals 4. 4 plus 3 equals 7. 7 plus 4 equals 11. And last calculation, 11 plus 5 equals 16. So the correct answer here is choice A, 16. Did you get to the same answer? If not, maybe you have a better way to solve it, so please make sure to post in comments so we can all learn. In this section, we will look at electrical skills questions we frequently see on the test. The electrical assessment may include various types of questions, tasks, and scenarios that gauge candidates' understanding of electrical principles, troubleshooting skills, and practical applications. Some typical types of questions might include theory and concept, where a candidate might be tested on their understanding of electrical theories, concepts, and fundamental principles. Another popular one is circuit analysis, where a candidate could be presented with the circuit diagram and asked to analyze or troubleshoot them. This might involve identifying components, determining voltages and currents, and predicting circuit behavior. Last but not least type of question could be problem solving, where scenarios involving electrical issues or malfunctioning may be presented, and candidate may be asked to diagnose and propose solutions to these problems. Let's look at some sample electrical skill questions we frequently see on the test. Here's an amazing question to test your electrical skills, specifically your knowledge of electrical circuits. In the circuit shown, how many switches need to be closed to light up at least one bulb? You're presented with the circuit, and you need to select 1 out of 5 possible choices. Choice A, none. Choice B, 1. Choice C, 2. Choice D, 3. And last but not least, choice E, 4 switches. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. The key here is not to overthink the problem. So I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. The key to solve these types of challenges is not to overthink the problem. Let's start with the definitions. We're dealing with multiple devices here. So let's look how do we define each one of them. Let's start with the battery. Battery is a device that converts stored chemical energy into electrical energy and provides the necessary voltage to drive the current through the circuit. Next one on the list is the light bulb. It's an electrical device that emits lights, producing visible illumination. We have 4 of these light bulbs, so let's give each one unique ID. We'll call them L1, L2, L3, and L4. We also have 4 switches, and switch represents a device that's designed to control the flow of electric current through the circuit. Switch can either complete the circuit in its closed position or break the circuit in its open position, enabling or interrupting the flow of electricity. Since we have 4 of them, let's give each switch unique ID. We'll call them S1, S2, S3, and S4. And last concept that we're dealing with here is concept of circuit. Circuit is a defined pathway or route through which electric current can flow, connecting various components and allowing the transfer of electrical energy. Our circuit consists of 1 battery, 4 light bulbs, 4 switches, and all the conductors that connect these devices. To better understand how we should answer this question, let's understand how simple circuit works. Simple circuit contains only 1 light bulb, 1 switch, 1 battery, and conductors connecting these devices. When the switch in a circuit with 1 switch and 1 bulb is closed, it allows the flow of electric current to pass through the circuit. In this state, the bulb lights up due to the passage of electrical current. When we open the switch, it breaks the circuit's continuity. As a result, the current stops flowing, and the bulb turns off because there is no electricity that reaches it. Now, with the understanding of this simple circuit, let's go back to the original question. I think that at least 2 switches need to be closed to light up at least one bulb in the circuit shown. And one of the closed switches must be S1. When switch S1 in the circuit is closed, it allows the flow from the negative battery terminal to be connected. In addition, any one of the switches S2, S3, or S4 need to be closed as well to create the flow of electricity, but at least one of them should be closed to light up at least one bulb. In this state, the bulb lights up due to the passage of electric current. So the correct answer here is choice C, 2 switches. I also have a question for you. If switches S1 and S3 are closed, how many light bulbs will light up? And which ones are they going to be? Please make sure to post your answer and solution and rationale in comments so I can give you my feedback. In this section, we will look at Microsoft Excel questions frequently used in a test. Microsoft Excel test is a standardized assessment designed to measure an individual's proficiency in using this powerful spreadsheet software application. This test assesses a candidate's knowledge and skills in various Excel functions, formulas, data manipulation, formatting, and data analysis. It is commonly used by employers during the hiring process to determine a candidate's level of Excel proficiency. This assessment typically includes a variety of Excel tasks and exercises that range from basic to more advanced functionalities within Microsoft Excel. These tasks might involve creating and formatting spreadsheets, performing calculations using formulas and functions, managing data sets, creating charts and graphs, and demonstrating an understanding of data analysis techniques. Let's look at some sample Microsoft Excel test questions we typically see on the test. Here's an interesting question to test your knowledge of Excel formulas and functions. June is a small business owner, and she recorded her sales figures in an Excel spreadsheet. She needs to calculate total sales for 2022. Which of the following formulas will calculate the total sales correctly? You're presented with the snapshot of data from Microsoft Excel, and you need to select one out of 4 possible choices. Choice A equals sum B3 through B6. Choice B equals add and then in parentheses B3 through B6. Choice C equals total and then in parentheses B3 through B6. And last but not least, choice D equals product and then in parentheses equals B3 minus B6. Do you know the answer? I have full confidence that you can quickly solve this challenge, and I'm going to move forward to share with you my answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to share in comments. To solve this challenge, you need to understand the data and know Microsoft Excel formulas and functions. As you might have figured out, the correct answer here is choice A equals sum and then in parentheses range B3 through B6. Sum function in Excel adds up the range of numbers. And to calculate the total sales for 2022, we need to add up all the sales figures for all quarters in 2022. As you can see, column B represents the sales data for 2022, and rows 3 through 6 represent quarterly sales. Now we know that the correct answer is choice A equals sum and then in parentheses cell B3 through B6. Let's look at why other options are incorrect. Option B, add values B3 through B6, is not a valid Excel formula. Option C, total B3 through B6, is also not a valid Excel formula. And choice product B3 minus B6 will multiply the values in the range B3 through B6 together, and it will not give you the total sales for 2022. In fact, if you looked at the choice D, the values supplied is not even a range. It's the difference between the values of B3 and B6, because we're supplying only one argument, which is the result of mathematical operation B3 minus B6. And in fact, the output of this function, product B3 minus B6, will be negative, because it's a result of a subtraction of 337 minus 439, and the end result will be negative 101.91. Do you have any other thoughts or considerations about this question? Please make sure to share them in comments. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you for helping us to become one of the largest YouTube channels to help people become smarter, increase your IQ, and to pass any test. If the content of this video was helpful, please make sure to click the like button to help YouTube algorithm promote this video and help other people to find it faster. Giving us a like is also a way for you to tell us that you need more content like this, and when you tell us, we will deliver it for you in the future. For links to free and premium resources, please check the description and comments of this video. You can also go directly to our website, howtoanalyzedata.net, to download the materials related to this topic. I really appreciate your endorsement, support, and patronage of this channel. And thank you for considering to become a member and considering to subscribe. Please leave feedback, suggestions, or corrections in comments. And all the best on your journey. I'll see you in my next video.